Yo guys, it is Captain Thorpe and we have some absolutely huge news in the World Cup today. Brazil have gone home. This is an absolute shock because somehow there's no Brazil, no Germany and no Argentina in the semi-finals. And well, I don't know when the last time that was. But this is pretty incredible to be honest for England's chances now. With no Brazil, we've got Belgium or France in the final provided we get there. And before that we've got Sweden followed by Croatia or Russia. This is so doable now with the big boys all seemingly going home. It's a huge opportunity for England. In terms of the match itself, I predicted that it would be 2-0 to Brazil, and I was wrong because Belgium won 2-1. I think Brazil were robbed in terms of the penalty though. I think this penalty decision on Gabriel Jesus by Vincent Kompany was overlooked by a lot of people, a lot of the pundits after the match and the post-match discussions. They overlooked it, you know, they just seemed, yeah, they probably should have had a penalty. But if they hadn't got a penalty and scored it, then they would have gone on to score another goal, maybe even a third goal with the momentum they would have had, and they would have won it in 90 minutes, or at least taken it to extra time. And then anything could have happened if it went to extra time. So this is the problem for me. Like, they can't overlook decisions like that. They brought in VAR to get those kind of decisions correct, and they didn't get it correct. Just because Neymar had been diving around earlier on meant that they thought, you know what, Brazil don't deserve this decision to go their way. That's the attitude of the referees, and I do not agree with it at all. If it was a penalty, you've got to give a penalty, and if Brazil had got that penalty, then, you know, they would have had a much better chance. Belgium played very well then. You know, that being said, Belgium played well. Going forward, Lukaku played well. De Bruyne played well. Hazard played well. Right? Defensively, they were very strong. Martinez switched to a proper 3-4-3 formation this time. He wasn't playing the 5 strikers I was going on at him last episode about. He switched to only 3 forward players, and then everyone else had some kind of defensive ability about them. And then it was a much more solid formation. I think he chose because he was scared of Brazil personally. But you could say it was a stroke of genius. I would be hesitant to say that, to be honest, purely because he was playing 5 strikers against all the little teams. But now when it comes to a big team, you think he starts being scared of them. He only puts 3 on, but then he gets lucky because his players are actually very good, you know, generally. He gets lucky and then they play very well for him. Then he's hailed as a brilliant manager. You know, I'm still very sceptical about that. I don't think he's this kind of genius that everyone's portraying him to be. I don't think he is, to be honest. I think he got a bit lucky this time, but now the system's worked, he's got to keep it whoever he plays now, because that's the system that will get him success. That being said though, the players did play very well, you know. The defence was very strong, you know. The midfield, Fellaini, of all people, was really good. They played well, okay. Brazil weren't dreadful. They had 17 shots on target in the second half against Belgium's 1, although that being said, like, they were pot shots, a lot of them. Dougie Costa, Neymar, Coutinho, they were just taking pot shots and missing them. Like, Firmino was rubbish. Gabriel Jesus was even worse. William was pretty poor as well, to be honest, but Neymar, he had some kind of attacking threat about him. Coutinho played a brilliant assist for the goal, but generally, I mean, he missed a greater chance at the end. Paulinho looked decent to me. I mean, it wasn't the worst performance I'd ever seen. It wasn't like the 7-1 against Germany 4 years ago, but it wasn't great. And Brazil definitely could have done a lot better, obviously, if that penalty decision had gone their way. But just generally in the game, Courtois played out of his skin there. Like, let's be honest, like, Courtois was very good. He made a brilliant save against Neymar, and every time he was called upon, he had it covered. But yeah, generally, I think Belgium deserved to win the game based on their performance. However, if Brazil had had that penalty decision that they should have had, the whole game could have been so different. And because of that, you can't be saying that Belgium are favourites to win the World Cup. You can't be saying that because they got lucky. Let's not forget that. They got lucky with the penalty. So you can't say completely that Belgium are favourites. And I think that they will lose to France in the in the semi-finals. And speaking of France, they beat Uruguay 2-0. And I said 1-0 to Uruguay in my prediction, so I was wrong with that one as well. So I got both of them wrong. I said it'd be Uruguay versus Brazil in the semi, but it's actually France versus Belgium. France weren't brilliant, but Uruguay were missing their best player for me in this World Cup, Edison Cavani. They were missing him, and it showed. To be honest, it showed. They didn't offer much going forward, so they were still okay defensively. Dreadful mistake by their keeper for Griezmann's goal. And the other goal was Griezmann assist from the free kick, and Varane with a header. So a set piece and a goalkeeping mistakes. It wasn't brilliant for Uruguay. They didn't offer a lot going forward, so just generally it was a poor performance by Uruguay. France were not brilliant, and they've not been throughout, to be honest. They've not been incredible. You could say they were against Argentina, but Argentina's defence is open. We all know that. France are not looking that convincing for me. Similar to Belgium, they're getting the results, but they just, in terms of their performance, it's not quite that convincing, and that is why I think England have got such a good chance. You know, if we can make the final, we can beat either of those two teams, in my opinion. So, speaking of England, they are playing tomorrow, and that should be an absolute cracker of a game against Sweden, and that's it in the afternoon at 3 o'clock. The other games between Russia and Croatia. Imagine if Russia go through, the scenes would be through the roof. The scenes would be brilliant, but unfortunately I don't think they're going to win. I don't think they are. I think they might be able to hold Croatia out for 90 minutes. But after extra time, I think Croatia is surely going to get a goal. They can only hold Croatia out for so long. I don't think they're going to score past their defence. So I don't think Russia are going to score past Croatia's defence, and they can only hold them out for so long. They might be able to do it for 90 minutes. And I'm going to give them the benefit of doubt, say they are, and it would be 0-0. But they're surely going to concede in extra time. They won't manage to get it all the way to penalties like they did against Spain, because Croatia are more forward thinking. That being said, Croatia weren't that good against Denmark, so we could see another shock, you know, we could, but in my prediction, Croatia will be winning that one after extra time 1-0. It's the other game though. It's the other game that's an absolute massive flash for English football against Sweden, and I honestly think we're going to win it 2-0 to England. I'm saying maybe Harry Kane with both the goals. That'd be lovely, that. Maybe even Marcus Rashford, you know. I think Vardy might be injured, I'm not 100% sure about that. Sterling, if you dare play Sterling, that is going to sabotage our chances so hard. Please, please do not play Sterling. He can't kick a ball. Play Kane, play Rashford, and it's all sorted, you know. The rest of the team will sort itself out, because we don't really have that many bad players at all. The only one standout awful player that keeps getting games, I don't know how, is Sterling. But apart from that, the rest of the team is looking really strong. You know, I think we'll be able to beat Sweden. Sweden are a strong side. Sweden is solid defensively. They don't offer that much going forward. They've got Forsberg, I suppose. They score penalties often, to be honest. So, and considering England is so strong defensively, you know, we're so disciplined, I think that we won't be conceding these kind of cheap penalties, you know. Southgate has poured defensive discipline into our team, so Sweden will not be getting through, whereas we won't be getting yellow cards. They won't be getting these cheap free kicks, these cheap penalties, and I can't see them finding a way past our really strong defence. Going forwards, I think England will score. I think we'll score at least one, maybe even two, which is why I'm going with the 2-0. Harry Kane is just an absolute genius. And Sweden, as much as their defence is strong, surely for 90 minutes they won't be able to hold England out. So that is why I'm going for a 2-0 win for England, and what a win it would be if it was to happen. What do you guys think will be happening in the matches? In the comments down below, please let me know. Subscribe if you haven't already, like the video if you've enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys later. Adios.